Up top, probably to no surprise of anyone, we'll call it the big three: Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. I think certainly in a tier of their own. Would you have anyone else up there with them, or do you think they stand above the rest?
So I think there's a case for Lamar Jackson. I mean, I'm not a Ravens fan. I like the Ravens, but I'm not like a huge fan or anything. But I just think he's not that far removed from just blowing up the fantasy world, right? He is one of the reasons people take quarterbacks so early because that year he blew up, and now it's like, all right, we need one of those top guys. So
He
and
broke
he
the
could do it
scale,
this
right?
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could do it this year again. So I would see him as like tier 1.5 or something, right in between there almost. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. I'm probably with you there that he's in a tier of his own. I think for me in tier two, because I'd clearly rather have him than the Burrow, Fields, Herbert, T-Law, because he does have that dynamic upside. I mean, we all know his rushing capability, and then you
Cheat code.
add, yeah, cheat code, and then Todd Monken, brand new offensive coordinator. He's known to spread it out and air it out. So Lamar's finally going to get his wish and be able to throw more. He says he'd like to run less. I don't know how much we're going to look into that, but we all know when the game's on the line, when there's a critical first down to pick up, Lamar's running the ball. So yeah. So the top three. Let's zoom in here a little bit. What percentage of your drafts do you think you'll come away with one of these top three, or is it even your strategy at all to pick off one of those?
So of the top three, I would say like I have Hurts number one actually over the other two. I think it's Hurts, Mahomes, then Allen, but they're all so close. Like you can't go wrong. I think my strategy is like if one of them falls like maybe back of the third, because they're going so early now. If they
Mm-hmm.
fall back of the third, I don't mind taking them at the back of the third round. Besides that, I pretty much kind of wait and I'll try to get somebody like we're going to talk about the next tier maybe, or even like wait for a late round, which has done me bad in the past. You want one of the top guys because you don't have to worry about that position the entire season. You're set. Just set it, forget it. They're going to do well.
Yeah, I was going to say definitely one of my strategies is I only want to draft one quarterback. So we'll talk more about roster construction and kind of how many of each position you should be drafting. But I'm with you, man. I want to draft one of these top eight quarterbacks, and then I'm not clicking that button again the rest of the draft because there's really no point. If you have Patrick Mahomes, why are you drafting Ryan Tannehill? It's just a waste of a roster spot. Let's go add a high upside receiver running back for that roster spot. Just where I stand with that. How about you?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I just think there's you're never going to use your bad quarterback, and like except for the one bye week which you can stream, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Pick somebody off the waiver wire for 1 week to fill in on their bye week, and use that roster spot. Grab like a random running back with the last pick, or a young wide receiver with the last pick. Somebody that has upside that can actually do more in your team and might have a chance of being in your lineup.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so so you kind of gave your order, your Hertz, Mahomes, Allen. That's
Yeah.
your top three. I will say, I know it's your first time on this podcast. Be careful, this is a Buffalo
No,
Bills podcast. So
I know how their
watch your
order
tongue,
goes.
man. Yeah, watch your tongue.
uh,
But yeah, so just real quick, why are you? I'm not going to say you're low on Allen because
uh,
he's your number three quarterback, but is that because of his arm injury last year? You're worried about his weapons, or what's
um,
up?
I it's hard to say you're low on him, right? He's right in there. I just like I say, and I think if whoever is there, I take whichever the last three is there. It's just
Yeah.
they're all so close. I just like if I had to pick between the three, I'm going in that order. I just think
Uh,
Hurts has the better weapons. He's better on his feet. Mahomes is missing the weapons, but he doesn't need them. He's so good. he
yeah.
makes it. He's got Kelsey. He just throws the ball to Kelsey every single play, and then he
Yeah.
makes the rest happen. And then Allen, he's really got Diggs, and then hopefully James Cook this year, and some of the other guys. Kincaid's new rookie tight ends. Generally aren't amazing.
Hmm.
So
See Kyle
it's all
Pitts.
about the
Yeah.
rushing though, and they all rush. They all get the rushing touchdowns. That's what you want.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so you said in tier two, Lamar stands out for you. He might even
Yeah,
be part of tier one. So who out
I
of
think so.
Burrow, Fields, Herbert, and T Law would you be targeting if that's kind of where you're going? You have to pick one.
If I had to pick one, I think I want the Fields upside. Again, we're talking about the rushing and the cheat code quarterback, Konami code. You want that guy that can, even if he has a terrible game, he's going to run for 100 yards and who cares? You know,
Hmm.
he'll throw for another couple hundred.
Yeah. So yeah, mind you that the Chicago Bears had the worst passing offense in like the last 30 some years last year,
Yeah,
and Justin Fields was still legit, right? So
yeah,
let's talk about that the only way to go is up for them. They added DJ Moore, they finally got rid of their coach. Things are looking good. I'm with you. If I'm not landing a top four guy, which I'm probably not seeking to do that often unless it's like Lamar for a value, I'm
yeah.
shooting for Fields and T Law. Those are my two guys in this area this year. Super high on the Jags. I just think, the addition of Calvin Ridley, um, Lawrence's second healthy season in a row under Doug Peterson. I mean, I just think in the playoffs last year, he just looked amazing. So,
Yeah, a little of that Clemson
um,
love coming out. I see it.
I know. Sorry. Yep.
No, it's all good. Another good. Lawrence uses his legs. T. Law's got the legs too. So, and that offense, with Ridley coming back, like everyone's going crazy about Ridley, how good he looks. They paid Kirk all that money. You know he's going to get the ball too. He's got a lot of places to put it, and it could go really really well for the Jags this year.
Yeah, fully agree. Okay, so let's take a peek here at tier three. And is do you think you're often landing here? I kind of already planted my planted my stake that whenever I can help it, I'm coming away with one of the top eight quarterbacks. Probably not one of the top three, but like number 4 through 8. That's kind of my sweet spot this year. Who do you like in this tier three? And is there anyone that you would wait on and be really happy with it?
I think it's the number 9 there, right at the top, Deshaun. All the off the field stuff aside, he's got that code to win. He can he can use his legs. He can't be as bad as last year. He hadn't played in, was it 2 years he hadn't played in, and
Right.
then
Yeah.
he had to play in like really cold conditions, windy conditions. I don't know. I'm just making excuses, but I think he could come back this year and just crush it for Cleveland. He's got amazing O line too, which is a huge help. Cleveland has a great O line. I just, of that group, if I have to grab one, I'm grabbing him. Otherwise, I'm like waiting and just like, I guess, hoping to grab somebody late that could do something.
Okay. So you're kind of like me, except you're like top nine
Yeah,
or just punt, right?
I think it's 9 or punt. Like, cause after that,
Yeah.
we were talking. You go down. There's some people there. You got
Yeah. This is
Dak and
just
Tua and
blah,
Daniel
right?
Jones, but they're just like
Yeah.
not. They're not gonna crush it for you.
Yeah.
They're gonna do okay.
Tua through Goff is just a bunch of nastiness,
Yeah,
except I'm intrigued by Anthony Richardson. Today, he was named the starter
yeah.
to start the regular season. So, what do you think about him? He was known as one of, the rawest QB prospects to come out maybe in a couple years. But he was kind of the first one announced as the starter of the rookie class. So, you taking any shots on him?
Yeah, I think so. Probably like a little bit of 1 or 2 shares of him just to see if something pans out because he could be Justin Fields last year, right? He could be with on a terrible maybe schemed team or just not experienced enough yet where he's just got to run a lot and everyone says he's the most athletic quarterback since nobody. Like he's just
Yeah.
crazy athletic and you're just hoping that he gives you all those points with his legs. It could happen. What the RG3 year was crazy, right? His rookie year. That could
Mhm.
be Anthony Richardson this year.
Yeah, he's like Cam Newton's size with a bigger arm and he's faster, right?
Yep,
So
exactly.
we'll see how it pans out. He has to have it up here too.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's talk about if we're really punting it off. And I think if you so at what point if you're drafting, at what point do you say, okay, if I'm taking one of these guys, I should roster a second quarterback? Is it, if you're after Watson, you'll probably take two? Is that your plan?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know. Maybe after Daniel Jones there, I would say. Or
Okay.
even, I like Geno better than Kirk Cousins. Geno's got a bunch of weapons and stuff. Like, you can talk yourself into just keeping the one quarterback, right, and hoping they hang on for you. But after we get through that third tier there, and even we get past the top 12, it gets, besides like Geno, who I like a lot, I think it gets just so iffy. Like, is there anybody you like past 12 besides Geno Smith? And we talked about Anthony Richardson already.
Yeah, I mean Richardson's intriguing. I'm with you. I can get down with Gino, but then the only people in tier four that I'm touching with the 10-foot pole is Derek Carr. I'm kind of intrigued with, and I think a guy that could break the slate is Kyler Murray, right?
If he ever
We're
comes back.
exactly
Win, if
so.
or win. Yeah.
I think drafting someone like, let's wait and just draft like a Dak or a Daniel Jones and then just throw Kyler Murray on the end of your roster and see how he comes back. Because if and when Kyler Murray comes back, we know that he's an every week top 10 QB,
Yeah. Or
you
top
know,
five even
or top five,
when he
right?
was
If
going. Yeah.
Kyler Murray was healthy, where is he slotted in? Like somewhere right here, like six, seven.
For sure. I
Yeah.
think he's right after Fields. I think
Yeah.
he's probably right there. Yeah, yeah.
So having that, it's almost like drafting like that high upside running back on your bench, and you just hope like he gets a chance to play and go off. Well, guess what? Kyler Murray's going to have a chance to play
Oh yeah.
later in the year, most likely, unless Arizona is just done with this year. They're mailing it in. They want the first pick. But I don't know. I mean, I think
They
he's
also paid
so
him a ton of money, right? You
yeah,
gotta
he's
play
so
the
highly
guys you paid
paid.
a
Yeah,
ton of money to.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I'm with you, dude. I'm not touching tier four with a 10-foot pole. Carr and Kyler Murray are probably the only people I would have on my roster. Anyone else you like down here intrigue you a little bit?
Um, Kenny Pickett a little bit. I just think he can only go up from last year, right? Like the team wasn't great, but he still got all the weapons there. Um, the O line is okay, right? It's not like horrible. I don't know. They're trying to make it better. I think he could have a little bit of a breakout, but is it going to be a top 10 breakout? I don't know. It might be like a top 12 breakout, where he just cracks the QB1 status.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think he's a decent streaming option. I mean, he's going to be in some higher scoring games. AFC North has a bunch of good offenses with the Ravens and the Bengals and the Browns, so he should have to put up points. So yeah, I'm with you. He's intriguing just because he also can use his legs here and there, and he has the weapons. So I'm intrigued to see how it turns out. So, what about your hometown boy, Sam Howell? Playing. So those, no one knows Jeremy yet, but
Yeah.
he's a Commanders fan. And so, what do you think about Sam Howell? Decent reports.
Um, so far it's optimistic. I mean, if you're a Washington fan, you have to be optimistic because Dan Snyder's gone. So everything is great this year. We could not win a single game. I will be the happiest Washington fan I've ever been. But I think Howell has shown promise, here and there and stuff, and it'll be interesting to see how he does this year. He's got, NFC East is always a beast of a division. Even when all the teams are terrible, they still play each other really, really well. And this year, a lot of teams are good. There's a lot of offense going on, a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be difficult division for a quarterback like Howell, who doesn't have a lot of experience, to have to step up and really make some plays. But they also have like Jacoby Brissett as backup, and he knows how to use his legs. He did during the preseason game. So if that takes over, you got a little bit of a leg guy there. He's older, but he's a veteran. He doesn't turn over the ball. You never know.
More of the story: let's stay away from Washington quarterbacks.
Yes,
All
for
right,
fantasy purposes, do not draft.
correct. All right. Well, any last comments on QB before we leave?
No, I don't think so. Just take Lamar Jackson if he drops a little bit, because you'll be very happy.